I recently had someone ask me if they trademarked a name that they could get a domain name from someone else to transfer over to them that that person owns. And they were wondering about this, if it would be possible, because they really wanted a domain name that would match up with the name of their social media accounts. And so with this particular person's situation, I responded to them, let them know that trademarks do not work retroactively. A trademark has to be filed first before you can take any particular type of action to be able to get an asset like a domain name or anything else that would be considered under the trademark, to get them to move it over to you in what's called cyber squatting. So cyber squatting is when people buy the name, domain name of a company that they, let's say bestbuy.com, just for example. If someone goes and buys that because they know that there's a company already out there, in that case, the company has already trademarked that name. They've had it, they've been operating for a long time with the name Best Buy. That would be considered cyber squatting. And in that case, if they filed and they had the attorneys to file that, they could then get the domain transferred over under a court process, which would be quite a proceedings to go through. But retroactively, if someone's already registered a domain name and then you happen to have that business name, but you've never trademarked it, you trademarking that today in June of 2023, and that person's owned the domain for however long, it doesn't matter. It's their, when they bought the domain supersedes when you filed the trademark. So there's no way to use that. Trademarks are always up to the date. So you have to prove that you trademarked the domain. If you trademarked it back in 2018 and they purchased it in 2023, then yes, then possibly you could go after cyber squatting with them. But still have to hire an attorney, you still have to go through a court process, and it may or may not actually be granted to you. So it's gonna cost you a lot of money in addition. So just so you know, trademarks are always retroactive in the sense that you have to trademark at a certain date, and then from that point on you have protection for whatever has been trademarked specifically. Domain names are one of those things that could possibly be trademarked, but you really have to have a domain attorney, specific domain attorneys out there, look at that contract and see if it's enforceable, and if you have any type of action that you could actually go to get something. So the short answer of it is no, it's not possible to file a trademark and get somebody to turn you over a domain that they've already registered. That's never going to happen. If you've already filed a trademark for a domain name but you didn't register it, I don't know why you would do that. You would just go, if it wasn't registered and you were going to file a trademark for the domain name, you would just go register the domain name. So it kind of doesn't make sense. But in that hypothetical scenario where you file a trademark for a domain name but you didn't go register it, and then somebody else registered it later, like months later or years later, yeah, then you could go after them. You could say, look, I trademarked this domain name already. This person filed it. They're cyber squatting on my brand. And then in that case, after a long court process and paying the attorneys lots of money, then you could probably get it turned over to you. But you could have just went and registered it in the first place, which would have been much cheaper. So really, it doesn't really make much sense. But I really do appreciate the question, because it was a very interesting question, and I'm glad to share some of my knowledge here about it. If you have any more questions about trademarks, about domains, about cyber squatting, any of those, I'd love to answer them for you or help you out if I can. This is Joe Field with SkyPoint Studios, and thank you as always for watching my videos. I'm going to see you on the next one.